Hello, Marvina.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
I am well. How about you? Don't
I'm
even
doing
ask.
well.
I told last episode I said I was going to ask you a different question so that
Yeah,
you
I'm doing well. I'll leave it at that.
awesome, awesome.
I've
You've
been
been
listening to the whisper.
I was going to say God's going, "You're fine, Marvina. You're
Yep, you're
fine."
fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Quit saying you're not. You're fine. Yes. Yes.
Oh gosh. Well, this today is episode 55 and
55.
55. And so the title of our podcast is Reduce Your Speed to 55. I
Your
thought that
speech
worked well.
55. It did. I like it.
Oh gosh. And I think this is just going to follow up on some of the things we've been talking about the last few episodes
Mm-hmm.
is just kind of staying in our lane, listening to what God has to say. And
Mm-hmm.
it struck me when we're in construction zones,
Mm-hmm.
we see those big flashing, reduce your speed to 55, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so that we acknowledge the improvement that's in progress,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so I was thinking sometimes in life we go at such a breakneck speed that
Yeah.
we sometimes miss the improvements or the development that God is trying to do in our lives. So we need to slow
Yes.
down
Mm-hmm.
and see what God has for us as far as growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's both spiritually, relationally, emotionally. We have to
Mm-hmm.
slow down in order to recognize it or hear what he's saying. Going back to that whisper, what is he saying to
Right.
me?
Right.
And so, yeah, it just really struck me when we slow down. What are we slowing down for in those construction zones? Well,
Right.
it's to acknowledge the improvements that are being done.
Mm-hmm. And for our
And
safety, right?
yeah,
For our safety and the safety of others too,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you have the crew out there sometimes, and sometimes you don't even know they're out there, right? Because they can be, behind another sign or
right.
behind, you don't know, but we're being told to do that for a reason. It's funny because when you originally mentioned how we have the reduce your speed,
Uh-huh.
my speed is always over what it's supposed to be. I hate those things. And then, but it's I am in life too. So you need to slow down. So whenever I see the sign, the monitor, whatever it is, I'm like, and then I try to slow down. So by the time I'm clocked, it doesn't show what my actual speed is, but that doesn't work, you know. But it's a metaphor to me. When you said that, it made me think about, yeah, that sign is there for a reason. God is trying to give us a warning. He's trying to tell us, slow down because you're going to miss something, or you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to hurt others.
Right, right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, after our stay in your own lane and realizing that you don't wait your turn to merge and you fly through, I'm glad we don't drive on the same freeways. No.
But I'm courteous when I do it.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
but you know what it goes back to?
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we go through life like, oh my gosh, why don't they hurry up? Like when we were talking about, like, why is everybody waiting in line? That's the rule. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we're so focused on others and what others haven't done, aren't doing, but we got to focus on ourselves. And again, when you gave that example, I don't know if you could see it, but it was like this little light bulb went off. And I was like, So now every time I see um the the sign reduce your speed, it's
Yeah.
gonna mean something different now. But then I'm gonna be like, okay, God, are you whispering? What do I but it's so true. It's so true. And like I said again, sometimes it's for, like you said, so we can for the so we can take in the development, the progress of the development, the
Right.
um you put it you stated it differently.
Yeah, just so we see the improvements that are needed. And,
Correct.
we can acknowledge those improvements that are going on or are needed. Yeah.
Right, right.
So, and it's we talked about this off camera that what's been on my heart lately is just the people that are going through struggle, that there are promises for each of us in what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when we're in a situation, like you say, we're just going so fast and we just,
Right.
just get through it.
Yeah.
God is saying, I want you to slow down because I have promises for you
Right.
that you can, again, walk with me through this. I am a friend that sticks closer than a brother.
Right.
I can carry this load with you.
Right.
My ways are above your ways. My thoughts are above your thoughts. I can
Mhm.
help through the situation. So I
Right.
think that was one thing I was thinking about is when we slow down, we have to slow down to sometimes recall those promises
Mm-hmm.
because we can get so wound up in the, you know, trying to go faster than 55 when everybody else is
Right.
doing 55 and it's making you mad. And
And you miss the beauty in it, kind of in the journey of it, right?
yeah.
Kind of going back to me having complaints. On the road, we complain about all the work that's being done,
Hmm.
but then you get to enjoy the beauty of a nicely paved road,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? The maintenance has to be done.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes we get, why do they choose this time to do construction work? Why do we,
Yeah.
right? There's a purpose in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let them do their job,
Yeah.
work with them,
Yeah.
pay attention to the signs,
Yeah.
to the cones, to the warning signs. When you because if the construction workers, once they get done, you know, your tires won't be tore up from the potholes that you're
Yeah.
going over.
Yeah.
You know, boulders won't be kicking up underneath your car, damaging it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like that with us in life. If we slow down,
Hmm. Hmm.
focus on God,
Yeah.
we'll get to the beauty of the process
Yeah. Yeah.
and the benefits of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So,
Woo. Yes.
yeah, so it's a challenge sometimes, a lot of times for some of us.
It is.
Yeah, but the slowing down, I know, and I hate to even bring this up in case it didn't work out for you, but
Okay.
I know you were going to start a garden. Were you able to start your garden?
I did.
And I bet going out into your garden, it's very soothing for you.
It
It's very
is.
peaceful.
It is,
Right?
Renee.
Right. And
It
I think
is.
that's what we have to do is find ourselves in those moments when we're slowing down, whether
Yes.
it be you going out to a garden, sitting out in
Right.
nature. That's when God can speak to you in your quiet times to
It's so
say,
true.
maybe this is an area of improvement.
Yes.
Maybe you've got a relationship that's a little bit rocky right now, and I wanted to
Hmm.
just tell you how maybe we can approach this so it's going to fix it or make it more manageable.
Right.
So, again, he speaks to us about spiritual things, relational things, emotional
Yes.
things. And so slowing down, and if it's like you say, going out into a garden and just
Yes.
being mindful and slow and just knowing that if there are improvements, he's going to share them with you because you've slowed down.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny that you asked me that because so when I uh planted my garden, I did some herbs and things, and so but I did this last week, right? Last week, last Sunday,
Hmm.
and I attend church online a lot,
Hmm.
and this is what I'm trying to get to. It was so peaceful.
Hmm.
And so last week, so during my planning, I had church going online. I went out in my backyard. It was so nice and peaceful.
Hmm.
And but the way the word hit me as I was listening to it, praise and worship, I'm sure my neighbors was like, what is going on over there? I was so focused on the what I had to do for the garden, right?
Hmm.
All the steps. I was so focused on all the steps. Then I gotta keep watering because my garden always starts out good.
Hmm.
It's by the time we get to summer when those digits hit, and I don't like going out watering all the time. And so then before I know it, but the point of again of that is I was so focused on the problem that once I slowed down and just enjoyed the journey of it, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now that is something that I look forward to doing because during that time, after I had praise and worship and as I was listening to the message, but God was speaking to me about a lot of different things. And because I was in a quiet place,
Right.
just some family stuff, relationship things, work things. I was in a quiet enough place where I was able to grasp what he was saying and actually hear his voice.
Right. Right.
Um, that also reminds me, and this is kind of going back to our last episode. What did I say? I remember I had a friend that I worked with years ago, and this was kind of when I was starting my walk with God on my own. I grew up in church, and I was walking with God, but when I was coming to a different understanding, and I remember asking her because she would always talk about how God spoke to her, and I'm like, okay, but what does that mean?
Hmm.
Was he like, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
Marvina?
Yeah.
Was he like, Marvina? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But again, when you slow down, now I'm coming back here.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
slow down, we can hear those whispers.
Right.
We can see actually the warning signs. You know what I'm saying? Is
Hmm.
we got to pay attention to the or the construction signs, right? We can actually see them and
Yeah.
pay attention to them
Right.
and do what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of times that's in your word. If you're reading the word
That's
and you
right.
and you come up to something, it's like, okay, that's your instruction,
That's right.
right? So
That's right.
we got the instruction booklet here.
Right. We have.
And then again, it's not again, we have that knower. So if he's speaking
Mhm.
to us, it's some you're not going to hear audible, and there have been instances where people have heard audible. I did on one occasion, but all the other times it's been just knowing in your heart
Yes.
that
Right.
this is the
The Holy
way,
Spirit.
what
Yeah.
I need to do.
Hmm.
And going back to your garden,
Hmm.
if you had been trying to worship and listen to the Lord, but you're running your lawnmower and doing your weed eater,
That's
and
right.
you're bringing in so much
That's
noise into
right.
it, right?
Right.
So we have to be able to put ourselves in those quiet places, or those
Hmm.
places that of improvement and
Right.
guidance and instruction. Or sometimes he wants us to slow down just to show his love to us.
That's right.
Sometimes we can get so overwhelmed with life that you feel like you're walking it alone, and he
Right.
wants to go, reduce your speed. Let's look at things here. Something needs to be improved, and that's you and I.
That's right.
You need to know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm on your side, no matter what it
Mm-hmm.
looks like out here,
That's
no
right.
matter all the junk and the slowdown and the, the congestion and everything. You and I are doing this together,
That's right.
you know. So I
That's
just think it's important that we learn to slow down and learn to
right.
listen. And once you hear the Lord's voice and
Mm-hmm.
in your heart, oh, that was good. Whether it be something, and I've been instructed a lot of times to, like we've talked before. All right, you need to go apologize to that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what'd you say? What'd you say? But once you
And
hear
it
that in
comes
your
up
spirit,
again, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
right after you don't listen, it comes
yeah,
up again.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. He's going, what I say?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But even then, even when it's more of a correction or more of, when you know it.
You do.
And you can't deny that that wasn't God putting that in your heart. I've had a situation where I had to apologize to someone, and it was difficult because there had been a lot of difficulty from their side for a long time.
Okay.
And so I had to go to them to say, I felt that resentment had developed and I apologize for that. They were
Mm-hmm.
stunned. They were
Mm-hmm.
stunned, but it was something I knew God was saying, you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
sometimes it's not easy what he's asking us to do, but other times like I say, it's just him wanting to say, it's you and me. Let's walk this
Right.
together. Don't
Right.
be speeding through, Marvina,
Don't be
speeding
speeding
through
through.
the construction zone.
That's right. And I
Yeah,
think that's the like what you were speaking to what you were saying. I think that's the work of the Holy Spirit, right? When we just know that's the Spirit confirming with us, that's the Spirit working within us,
right,
working with God, right? To know, to confirm in our heart,
right.
this is what God is telling you to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You shared a scripture the last our last episode, and I think it was maybe Matthew, come to me, all ye who are weary, right?
Hmm.
And as you're talking, I'm thinking too, and we touched on this a little bit. In addition to the instruction, God is trying to save us from ourselves sometimes
Oh
too,
yeah, yeah.
right? That we need the rest.
Hmm. Hmm.
Slow down,
Yeah, yeah.
right? He's doing a multitude of things in that slowing down. He's speaking with us, he's communing with us, and we're getting the respite that we need
Right,
to do the work that he has purposed us to do,
right,
right?
right,
Giving us instructions on how to move forward.
right.
Um, in relationships, or like you said, in the relationship you had to be in a place where you could hear the whisper
Hmm. Hmm.
to know that God was saying, you need to apologize. Because if you focused on the big kaboom of it, right?
Right,
Kind
right,
of back to what we were talking before, you would miss it,
right, right.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes construction zones are messy,
Hmm.
but they're necessary,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And so this has helped me. God is just so amazing because I've been praying for some clarity on some things.
Hmm.
And again, as I've mentioned before, I'm making it more difficult than it got. Just slow down.
Yeah.
While we're talking, I'm like, God, say less. I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, until
Yeah.
I don't, right? And
Yeah.
then, but again, it goes back to I love the analogies
Yeah.
because it helps to be able. I'm a person that sees in pictures,
Hmm.
like you were mentioning, and so it helps to apply that. So now, yep, every time I see the what's your speed, it's gonna take on a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
It's gonna take on, Then the other thing is, what I'm thinking about is to when we don't slow down, it affects other people.
Yeah.
Going back to me merging in front of, it affects other people.
Yeah.
It's not just about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and I'm just, picturing how I just be spinning some days because I'm like, God, I got so much to do. My poor family is like, oh my God, she wears me out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you're showing him this list of things, and he's going, I didn't tell you to do number 3 or number 4 or no, it's stuff that we can put on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am so thankful to God. And this episode, it's really an answer to prayer for me. I'm starting to get a little bit emotional, but because I've really been praying about some things and asking God to direct me in some areas. And so because again, you got to focus on you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think that you're doing that, but we get again, we get out of our lane. Or sometimes you're in your lane, you just got to pay attention to the construction sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to slow down.
Yeah.
You can't get off here.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And there was a sign way back there.
Yeah.
Where I told you this exit was going to be closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you want to force it. So now you're mad at me because you can't get off on this exit. Say less, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got it.
Yeah. And when you think about it, when you think about the fact that we have the privilege to hear God's voice, we have the privilege to have him speak with us not about abstract things, but things that are important to us and in our lives. He speaks to us. When you think about the God of the universe is willing to do that, then we should be saying, I wish there were more construction zones. I wish there were, because hearing his voice is just, it's proof of his love for us. It's proof of his concern. It's proof of his desire to do life with us. So I think if we could look at it that way, like you said earlier, if you're looking at it and you go, okay, I realize that there's my safety involved here, safety of others. There's a reason that's this is happening, and but being able to slow down and hear God talking to you about this makes those times that you're the construction a little bit easier to understand. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does.
I felt like
No, it makes sense. You felt
I felt like I went down one of your rabbit holes. You're rubbing off on me.
I got it. I'm right here with you, Renee. Okay. I totally understand what you're saying. Now I don't know about our listeners, but I totally understand.
Yeah. Oh God.
And just I know we're wrapping up, but I wanted to and you talked about me being out in the garden and how just taking those quiet moments, and some of I had looked up, what are some practical ways that we could just kind of force ourselves, to slow down. And there are things that, we know, journaling, morning quiet time. And one thing and this is what stuck out to me. Okay. Again, this is where I was trying to get.
Yeah.
But it wasn't coming fast enough. So that Sunday, when I was out in my garden, God really impressed upon my heart about why he gives us a Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
The intent is for us to slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think when you grow up in church, and this has nothing to do with church, because the church has explained that, but I think I'm just coming to a different understanding maybe. And gives us a Sabbath for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's intended for us to slow down. So
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes what God is showing me is that can look different than what I thought it would look. Because sometimes we think the Sabbath is, attending church on Sunday. But if you're very involved in your church, there's certain duties that you have to perform, or there's some, right? And you end up, and then you're so tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of that, we miss the whole purpose of why God had us to do that.
Right. Right.
And so God has really been impressing upon my heart that I need to really adhere to that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to that having a Sabbath. God said, for real, if I took a rest, and not that he had to,
Yeah.
because he's able to do it. Not that he had to,
Right.
but he said, if I thought it was good for me to take a rest,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you really think it's not going to be good for you to take a rest?
Yeah.
And what God was showing me is not only is it beneficial to me, but it's also beneficial to my family, because I can stop and have that quality time
Right.
that
Right.
I need to have with them.
Right.
Because when we have that quality time, we share the goodness of the Lord, and that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
And so God has just really been dealing with me on the way I see things, and the way that I apply things. And sometimes you think you're at a level of understanding, and we are, but God, he takes us in levels, but I'm just seeing things differently.
Right.
God is just showing me things differently about me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how if I get myself where he needs me to be, the rest of it is going to follow.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that like I say, I think the episodes we've had, the last few, have just really on my heart, and I know yours as well, just that importance of intimacy,
yes,
understanding
yes.
um, how he wants to interact with us in life, and how he wants
Mm-hmm.
to direct us and make life better, you
Right,
know? So it's
right.
just, yeah, I agree with you. I'm kind of doing the same thing, just trying to listen more and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, what are you asking me to do? How are you asking me to change my heart,
Right,
change how I
right.
interact, and he's very faithful to let us know.
Yeah, he is.
Very faithful.
He is, and because his spirit is so gentle, he never tells us the way we deserve to be told.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, sometimes we push it, and you gotta get a little rough. But again, he's always looking. He our he always has our best interest
Yeah,
at heart.
yeah,
Always,
yeah,
no matter what it is we're going through, no matter how dark it looks, no matter how impossible it seems, the journey, God always has our best interest at heart.
yeah,
And I am so thankful for that.
yeah,
And I'm paying attention, Lord.
yeah,
Paying attention. I'm going to slow
yeah,
down. I'm
yeah.
going to slow down. So, my goal between now and our next episode is to just do the speed limit, so that
Yeah,
when I come upon the signs, I don't have to reduce my speed.
yeah, yeah,
We know it's going to happen, but I'm
yeah.
going to try. Meaning, I probably won't be going the speed limit, but when I see the sign, it's going to hit different. So I'm going to have to get
Yeah,
in line.
yeah. Oh gosh. All right. Well, that's what I've got. Just
Yep. And
uh
I definitely don't have nothing else. I have a bunch of stuff that I need to take and really think about and
yeah,
apply.
yeah. It's
I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to it. It's an answer to prayer. This podcast it's an answer to prayer for me.
Okay, well, I
So,
expect you to put that in the comments then. It's no.
yeah, I will. I would every time I can feel it bubbling up, but I can't do cry because this is forever. And we don't want my ugly cry.
Oh gosh.
But I love it. This podcast is an answer to prayer for me. I have some direction. Sometimes you just get so caught up. And again, it's not anything that's devastating or anything, just trying to sort things out.
Right.
I'm at a period in my life where I'm looking at retirement pretty soon. So I'm trying to prepare for that.
Right.
There will be an official countdown as soon as I get a date.
Yeah.
And it's a couple years. It's a couple years down the road, but the other thing that God had been dealing with me, and we talked about this a little bit, is God has been dealing with me to be prepared.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just prepare. Yeah. And so with that, I get caught up with a lot of thoughts sometimes, and that can be a little bit debilitating because I'm trying to sort it out, where God is saying, girl, just rest.
Yeah.
I got you. Like you said, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talk about, we just talked about a second ago about your knowing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're even proof of that, to say that touched my heart today, what we were talking about. So that's what I'm saying about, that was God speaking to your heart.
Right.
Even the words that were shared in this podcast were like, oh,
right.
That's what I get. And that's when we're talking about when God speaks to you, you go, oh, I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
So that's our prayer for our listeners and our viewers, is just that, if you're carrying burdens or worries, that is some of the heaviest stuff to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations sometimes are difficult to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And it just slow down and acknowledge that God wants to walk with you through this.
Yes.
That he will speak to you through this.
Yes.
And that, like you said, he has our best in mind.
He has our best in mind.
Yep. So. Whew. All right.
One more thing.
Yes.
See, I was trying to let it in because that was a great segue to end. But and in my mind, I'm like, don't say it, Marvina, don't say it. But we're here now. Sometimes the busyness is a distraction for us too.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I was crossing it into. Sometimes you think that you're on point because you're doing all these things because God has given me this vision or God has given me this thing to do. And sometimes the busyness is a distraction, and it's an obstacle because we don't ever get to the Sabbath. So that's all that. Yeah. That's even like you're driving down there. Why are they changing that lane? Why do they have to repave that? Why do they, right.
It's like, well, it's kind of none of your business. Just just drive 55. That's all we're asking.
Just drive 55. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's all I have.
Okay, that's good for me.
A bunch of information that I am getting ready. I'm excited. I am excited.
So. Yeah, I think he's got some good things ahead for you. You and I have talked, and I believe that he's got some really good things ahead, and he's preparing you to step out of the boat. So,
thank you, Renee. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Definitely. I appreciate that.
All right.
Woo! That's a whole different level though to step out the boat, but it's okay. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna just step. It's all right.
Yeah, now, don't go there. Don't go there yet.
I'm not. I'm not. See, folks, you get to see again, live and in color, how my brain works. Renee's used to it.
Yeah. It's
This
like,
is how our private conversations would go for
yeah.
lunch, right?
Oh, I'm sorry I encouraged you. I didn't mean to encourage you. I'm sorry.
My goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. All right.
All
This is
right.
our third close, but we're gonna
Yes.
close it.
Your mom will be so proud. Oh, gosh. All right.
Okay, Renee. Well, you have a wonderful week
You as well?
and enjoy this our spring like weather that
Oh,
we're
gorgeous.
having because
Yeah.
when the heat kicks in, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's been gorgeous, yeah.
It's been nice. In summertime, we're going to be a lot more cranky on, on video. Oh, gosh.
Well, you enjoy.
Okay. All right. You
All
too.
right.
And we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon.
Okay. All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.